Good evening YouTube, it's me Frukuru again and I'm back with another video. This time we're going to be doing the PvP climb for the week. I want to get a good head start, so we're just going to take a look and see where we go. Obviously because it's Monday, there's a lot of kind of trash to clear through, so I've done 5 runs with my daily allowance so far. And it's gotten us up to close to the top 1000, and we're going to try and get as close to the top 100 as we can today. So a little bit of a change into the team. I normally run Federica, Lucia and Ayaka in this meta, but I'm trying to get away from Ayaka. I'm trying to kind of use my Fryevia that I've leveled up. I've switched her back into White Mage spec from Green Mage that I was testing in another video. This is because I'm not coming up against a lot of Medianas or Magic teams at the moment, so I don't have the need for some of the kit. Another little change that I've done, if we take a look in here, is I've really stripped away a lot of my damage cards. The reason for this is if I'm one-shotting stuff with my Lucia, you know, more damage is kind of redundant. And if I don't one-shot it, a lot of the cards I found they weren't making the difference. They weren't really kind of paying for themselves. So what we've done is I put Leona's Castle, which I have maxed, on my Fryevia. So I've got the 15 defense and spirit. I did have a level 60 Whisper card, the one that gives you the missile resistance and the striking resistance, but as it is at the moment, it doesn't give me enough payoff. This is actually slightly better, sans the party ability. However, we do get critical hit rate up 6, and we are also using Cleansing the Mind, which isn't maxed, but it gives us a bit of missile attack resistance for all the mirror teams we're going to come up against, and it also gives my Lucia luck up. So between that and the crit up, we're hoping that she's going to be hitting crits more often than not. Nothing's really changed with my Frederica. She's still using Frederica's Dream to buff up these, but we'll see how we go. I do have the TMR for Fryevia now. However, I don't think it's going to do much in this, to be honest with you. I could probably replace it with something else, but I'm not too bothered for now. We might take a look at that in a bit. Other things to note, I am actually replacing Siren on my Fryevia, or sorry, I'm replacing Shiva on my Fryevia with Siren, but the resonance isn't quite there yet, so I've just got her on for a bit of extra health stats. And what I'm hoping is that none of my units are going to get one shot, and we're going to be able to kind of heal up and just push through. So let's take a look. We're ready up, and let's prepare for battle, and let's take a look. So straight away Ronin, this should be an easy start. We'll commence the battle. Really, we're not coming up against any missile here, so I could swap the card. I'm not going to, because I'm fairly confident that we're going to be okay. So let's just go in and try and clear through this as quickly as possible. I've left skill effects on. I put it into ×2 speed. Just think it looks a little bit interesting, a little less bland. So let's see how we go on our climb. Apologies for the load times as always. I know they're a little bit slow. That is my computer, but here we go. So this should be a walk in the park. Obviously we've got the one shot, and see, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, he's not a great high level Orlando, but in this case, you know, what's the point in having more damage if I can get a bit of survivability? And also, if my units can survive, oh wow, that's terrible. Look at that, Glacial Mastery, round 1. That's bad AI. That's very bad AI. I mean, what's she gonna do? You know. But anyway, if my units can survive an additional hit and get an extra cast or spell or attack off, you know, that's well worth it. Oh, reflex on the stone throw, very nice. So yeah, we'll just try and clear through this magic barrier. Fryevia right now, not as potent as Ayaka by any stretch of the imagination. However, there have been times where my Ayaka's got sniped, so, you know, I'm hoping to avoid that. Trade off some of the bigger heals for more sustained healing, I guess is the idea here. So with that down, we're close to the top 800. And we'll go prepare for battle again. And let's have a look. This is an interesting team. We'll fight this again. No missile, so our missile resistance card's kind of defunct. But my Frederica counters that water unit, so hopefully Miranda should get one shot and go down pretty quickly before she causes any trouble. Again, the units are kind of low, so you know it's not going to be the most exciting match. And let's just see what happens. No, let me just check. Oh, that's fine. Okay. So yeah, this is going to be probably one shot. No, not at all. Okay, she's obviously built around it. I suppose she counter elements as well, so it's probably silly of me to expect that. Let's see, so they're going to buff. We're just going to buff Glacial Mastery again. Yeah, it's just not a... If the AI is going to work like that on other specs as well, I don't think that's going to be a great TMR to use for auto. It's just useless if she's casting it on turn 1. Even if we use the Green Mage passive to make it last 2 turns, she's still not going to get within range more often than not with her small movement. So they're just going to buff around, and we should start picking these off now. That rain is very tanky. I haven't come up against many of them yet, and I haven't seen much on the JP side, so I don't really know what to expect with him, if I'm being honest. So Curada up. And if these units were all 99 and well built, I think I'd have a serious problem with this team. But it is kind of magic based, so where we want to eventually get is a magic counter team. So this is kind of what we're going to be looking to be killing maybe in a couple of months from now. That really hurt. Firaga, that's nasty. So they've got the 2 healers, which is quite nasty, my god. And we're just going to keep throwing hits at this. Now, in times like this, you know, the actual attack cards would actually be pretty good. We're lucky we reflex that. I think it's going to still bounce. Yeah. I guess we'll just see what happens here. Really? We could possibly quite lose this. I'm surprised my Fryevia hasn't gone in for the limit break. Their Fryevia is going to keep. This is you know this is the typical, you know, their Fryevia versus my Fryevia. Maybe a little bit better built, but we're awfully close for a gunner team, which I don't like. And I have to say this has probably been one of the best best PvP matches I've watched for a while. And I'm quite impressed. Who am I up against here? Whoever you are, your team's pretty good. You're getting it into a nice nice position. So she's going to use the limit break here, which is going to kill off at least one of my units. Hopefully, oh, it's confused everyone. Wow, well played. Fair play. So heals upon heals upon heals. Miranda's one of those characters that I often underestimate, to be honest with you, when I come up against, and she always kind of comes back to bite me. But we're lucky enough that we've killed off their 2 biggest pains, and we shouldn't have any issue with their remaining Fryevia. But this is a long match. Actions left 6. It's right down to the wire. And my Fryevia is hitting me. But the last shot should come in now. There we go. So we don't get that many ranking points because we couldn't actually finish off the team. I definitely underestimated that comp. So kind of something to take note of. I wasn't built to fight it, which is, you know, fair, but I should know better by now. I've just crashed, so I'm going to pause the stream momentarily. Bear with me. Okay, so we've made it back. Apologies, 1 second, I'll just put that down. We've made it back and get a new load of opponents. I'm a little bit apprehensive to go up against more Mirandas, especially if there's a second healer, because I think they can stall the game, which is actually a tactic that I kind of want to look into another time. I've come across it a few times, where you just can't kill your units and they whittle down one of yours and they win by default. So let's have a look at this. Again, no missile damage, so I'm not coming up against a lot of missile damage at the moment, so I think I'm actually going to just switch out that card, Cleansing the Mind, and I think we're going to replace it with the most sensible choice right here, Iron Giant. I'm not, again, we don't really benefit from the slashing attack, but yeah, look, it'll be fine. There's a little bit of agility, but that's not going to be a big deal here. So who are we looking at here? Garian teams on this map I generally consider a free win. He's just very, very squishy, and he doesn't tend to make it over in time to do anything. So we'll load in, and hopefully this will be a little bit cleaner than the last one. I can't imagine it's going to be much worse. Orlando's, you know, they're obviously a super strong character, but he's not the be-all and end-all. If you don't have Orlando, don't stress too much, because, you know, you can counter him. He's good, but he's not the answer to everything. I mean, we chunked him for half his life before he even gets close to us, so that's nice. Again, Glacial Mastery, an absolute waste. I hope they do something about that. I kind of got her to use her more so in manual PvP, so I'll have a little bit of control over that. I may consider actually putting it on someone like my Frederica, who's strong, but, you know, doesn't quite have the potential to one-shot a lot of units, and that might make the difference. And I could give my Fryevia the TMR for Frederica, which might be a little bit more useful on her. So let's have a look. That's one win there, and where does that put us? So that's put us up into the top 374. So let's prepare for battle again. And this time, I like fighting Sterns. I don't like fighting Ramses and Ayakas though, so I might just dodge that one. Let's have a look at this. So that's double healer. This is just a comp we don't want to even sniff at. This I did like the look at until I saw the Victoria there. That can potentially destroy me, so I'm going to kind of dodge that as well. And we might just take... Okay, this one's, again, a Victoria. It's a big part of this, to be honest with you, is picking the right battles. You know, you don't want to fight things that are going to absolutely smash you. So this one, for example, 2 gunners and an Orlando. So we kind of know that that's what we've been building and expecting against. So I'm going to swap that card back in for the missile resistance. Cleansing the mind. Where have you gone? There we go. And obviously we're not fully optimal yet, but you know. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to swap the TMRs as well. So I'm going to take this off, because I reckon my Frederica is always going to attack after using this, whereas Fryevia not so much. So let's put this on instead. Remove. Let's give her... Sorry, I know I've kind of made a pig's ear of re-equipping these. Could have done it a lot better. So let's see what we get. Yeah, I mean, it's not great stats. To be honest with you, a lot of the time with Fryevia, I almost think you don't want to use a Trustmaster unless you're getting specific stats off it, or you're trying to get a very specific ability, because she just kind of spams it and it goes higher priority than other stuff that's actually needed. So I mean, this guy is a lot higher attack than me with the Orlando, but I think we can win this. I hope we can win this. Losing the win streak will be a bit of a pain, but it's not the end of the world. We'll just see how far we can get. So, here we go. Eventually load, hopefully. Don't crash again. Please. Right. Apologies again for the load time. I know, maybe one day I'll start cutting these, you know, do a bit of splicing. Maybe not. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So she's going to dual trigger. That's a nice chunk of damage there. Vital shot against her. Not enough to kill her. We could be in trouble here at the crush armor. I think that's going to... Didn't one-shot us, but if that Orlando had been built a bit better, I think it should have, to be honest with you. So she's just going to cast TMR first time every time. Supercharge, just going to tickle me. And fire is not particularly what we wanted to see there, but the Lucia does counter the Orlando and kill him. So one thing is, I'll take my Fryevia is soaking up a lot of damage, which is really nice to see. I think building defensive sometimes, you know, kind of gives you more offense. So she's going to cure out of herself, and this is going to allow her to soak maybe, like, you know, a couple of autos or an ability. Get the supercharge and we take out the Lucia, and that's just 2 of these left. So or one of them left and two of me, so you know it's a number game. And my Fryevia is still soaking up the damage. She kind of has a pseudo taunt because she's low health, so I think that's kind of baiting the enemy into focusing her. Arm shot against Frederica, it won't be enough. It did disable actually. So let's see what happens here. We're just going to probably keep spamming Cura and Cure, and that's fine. Worst case scenario here, you know, we'll waste a few turns, but I think we have this in the bag, safe to say. So supercharge, not just now. See, that's why you take defensive cards. Because my Fryevia, you know, yeah, she's soaking damage, but she could just be running backwards and forwards, you know, taking hits and not really doing much. So that was nice to see. And it's kind of given me a bit of faith in my choices here. So that puts us up to rank 260, which is quite nice. Let's have a look at where we are with orbs. I think we might have one left. Possibly not. Oh, yeah, we do. Okay. So I'm imagining now we're going to go into Gunner Meta Central at this point. They have a Shadow Lynx, Frederica, Lucia. This is kind of a coin flip because a lot of these come down to who reflexes first, which isn't that cool. It's kind of a bit boring, but we'll see what happens. I'm confident that I built my units pretty well. My Frederica, not so much, but maybe if she uses the TMR, she might get a cheeky one-shot out. The Shadow Lynx doesn't worry me because we should sharpshoot through the evasion, and she might run through and get up in our faces, but you know, generally she doesn't pose too much of a threat on this map, despite being a really, really good unit. So there Frederica goes first and chunks me for quite a substantial amount of damage, but we kill Shadow Lynx, toodly pip. I receive the sharpshoot, but I'm going to vital shot back and do a big chunk. Now, this is a bit of a problem. I've got disabled twice, which is absolutely horrible, but we do kill the Lucia, which is the main threat, and at this point it's pretty safe to say that this is in the bag. So if I had been running Ayaka, she probably would have died before she got a chance to really do anything here, and would have soaked up less damage. I think we would have won either way, but you know, it's still kind of, oh Jesus, well, spoke too soon. Spoke too soon. So in this case, they built their Freda better than I built it, and it's a numbers game, so fair play. Can't. That's good. I am kind of glad. Well, I'm not glad. I'm not glad I lost, but you know, nice to see a little bit of a surprise. So we're 256, and we're starting to obviously run into tougher opponents. So let's go again. We'll push it a little bit further. Tancred and Ramza, I have a lot of respect for. Tancred, I never know what he's going to pull out of his hat. He worries me. I think what we'll do is we'll call it quits here for now. I might have a look at the team, but you know, 256 on day one, not exactly difficult to achieve, but that's a good start for the week. So I hope that's kind of giving a bit of insight into what I'm doing with my arena teams. If you have any comments, by all means, ask me questions. If you have any suggestions, please throw them at me. I'm always willing to take advice. So yeah, I'll leave it at that, and until next time, take care, best of luck in your matches, and happy killing. Bye.